Well, the program I was provided asked me to begin with opening remarks. So if that's okay, Mr. Fertitta, I'll do that. And so let me say that on behalf of my colleagues in the Big 12, I'm delighted to welcome the University of Houston into the Big 12 Conference. The Big 12 presidents and chancellors began this process of adding members with the focus of strengthening the conference. The addition of the University of Houston, with its rich tradition of athletic success and outstanding academic credentials, enhances the prestige and the competitiveness of the league on a national scale and sets us on a path to even greater success. A bigger, stronger, more national.
Yeah, but my background isn't in there.
Is a great thing for college athletics. And on a more personal level, familial level, I might add, having the University of Houston in the Big 12 is good for Texas Tech and the University of Houston on many levels, and this is also good for the state of Texas. I look forward to working with Chancellor Couture. I regard her as one of the most respected university administrators in the United States. And on behalf of my colleagues on the board of directors, we will benefit from your experience and your leadership. Again, we're delighted to have the University of Houston in the Big 12 Conference.
Thanks, Lawrence. I'll jump right in with a few general comments and then a few comments specific to Houston. We are adding 4 great universities today. It's a good day. 200,000 students, 3 additional states, 40 million in population, 3 of the best recruiting areas in the entire nation. Tremendously successful broad-based athletics programs led by some really outstanding coaches and administrators. So it's a good day by any measure. And this is our first media function with our friends at the University of Houston and now our colleagues at the University of Houston. And so there isn't any question that the Cougars raise the bar in every sport and in every way. They live and reside in arguably the best recruiting county in the United States for football players, and that is going to be no small assistance to the continued progress of the football program. To add to that, the obvious excellence of the basketball program that Kelvin Sampson has built is remarkable and sustainable. And I think we largely talk about the major sports, but not lost on me is that Houston has 16 golf championships. We have a great golf environment in our league for both men and women, and Houston's not going to do anything but add to that. I want to specifically thank Chancellor Couture, AD Pesman. I didn't know Chris, but have gotten a chance to get to know him, and obviously he's doing a great job. And none of this happens without Board Chair Fertitta. Tillman, thank you very much for being a part of the meetings and being a part of this media function today. It's a great day for the Big 12 Conference. We think it's a great day for the state of Texas, as Lawrence mentioned, and for the University of Houston. And this will make maybe the Bayou Bucket Classic just a little more special for Coach Holgerson and his team this weekend. And so we wish you well. We couldn't be any more excited about this morning's news. And it's wholeheartedly that I welcome all of you to the Big 12 Conference, and happy to answer questions after the others have made their opening comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. All I can tell you is how excited we are at the University of Houston. I'm a fan of every school in the Big 12, and it's great that it's the Big 12 again. I love the 4 schools that the 8 of y'all picked, and we're just thrilled what this is for the state of Texas. I love great rivalries. Our school loves great rivalries, and I just can't tell you how excited we are to be a part of this. All the hard work from so many people in Texas, from the governor, lieutenant governor, Senator Whitmire, and of course, all the fans and alumni of University of Houston. But we appreciate Lawrence, you and Bob and everybody of the remaining schools having faith in us, and we look so forward to doing whatever we can do and contribute, because I think the Big 12 is going to shock people in all athletics besides academically, how good it's going to be in the future. And I can promise you this, we're going to do whatever it takes at the University of Houston to do our part to make everybody in our conference proud that y'all brought us in. I hope we don't beat everybody that y'all are out, but we just want to shine you guys at the big. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Welcome.
Thank you. We are very excited and very eager, but I want to start by thanking you, President Shovnik, and all the members of the Big 12 board and Commissioner Bowlesby for extending the invitation to us, for accepting our application, for having confidence in us, for finding us a suitable partner. I also want to thank the Cougar family, the students, alumni, fans, supporters, the city of Houston, the board, the state leaders. If I'm forgetting everybody, I just want to make sure everybody's included, because this has been truly a village effort, a joint, a team effort, and I just can't be just more excited for everybody. Now, we have been on a path of transforming this great University of Houston into a greater University of Houston. Over the last decade, I mean, it's a tier 1 status, the Phi Beta Kappa, the Peach Bowl victory, medical school, the Final Four, and now Power 5. You know, it is really pretty spectacular what the community as a whole can do. I mean, if you dream big, you can achieve it. I have always believed that great institutions, great universities are built by great communities. So I do want to thank everybody who has been involved in this effort. But I want to point out, we are so excited because Big 12 is a great conference. Let's just start with the word big. I love big. I love everything big. It's about Texas being big, everything big and bold. And I have seen the conference games and the level of competitiveness. It only will make us better. It will only challenge us to rise to new heights, to seek even and dream big, and to play at a higher level. So let me just end by saying we are very excited, very hopeful, and very grateful. I'm sure we'll make University of Houston, the city of Houston, the state of Texas, and the Big 12 conference very proud. So thank you once again.
Well, I've found myself failing for words at several moments over the last couple of days as this has come to fruition, and I can't thank Commissioner Bowlesby and Chancellor Shovnik enough. This has been a really special process, and the ability to be here and have the privilege to sit in this chair at this time with the amount of work that so many people have done over the years to get us to this point. This isn't something that happens in a moment. It takes time, and it takes a constant concerted effort and focus. And we're privileged to have that from our board and from our president and our administration and the support of our institution to make that happen and to come to the culmination of today. On a personal note, I said this to, I believe, Commissioner Bowlesby and to Renew and Tillman. I was in the athletic department when the Southwest Conference dissolved. And I had a moment when we were having a conversation where, you kind of looked around the table and you're like, this is happening and this is real. And I wasn't sure, despite everybody's best efforts, intentions, drive, motivation, that we would get to that moment, and to be able to sit in that chair, in that meeting, in that room at that time is an immense privilege and honor, because there's so many people that put work into making this happen. And to them, I'm thankful. It's a list that goes beyond listing everybody out, so I won't get into it too much because I'll forget somebody. But for our student athletes, for our coaches, for our program, for our teams, for our university, this is just a transformational moment. And it's something that we'll look back to over time and remember where we were when this happened. And I look forward to remembering that. I think it's appropriate that we're playing Rice tomorrow. Houston played Rice in the last game of the Southwest Conference 25 years ago. And to turn around to be playing them tomorrow for the bucket, it just feels a circle's come complete. And I look forward to becoming a very valuable member and meaningful member to the Big 12 Conference. And I said this to all our coaches, we're running into this. I can assure you that our board chair and our president like winning a great deal, and that doesn't stop. And so we got a lot of work to do to get to that point. But this is the fun stuff, and I can't wait to get started. And thank you all very much for this opportunity. And we're very privileged and honored to be here.
Thank you all for your opening comments. We will begin the question and answer portion of the program at this time. For those that would like to ask a question, please use the raised hand function that's found across the bottom of the menu bar. And once you are made live, please identify yourself and the media outlet that you represent. Also, please note that Commissioner Bowlesby and President Skuvinik will have to leave the call at the bottom of the hour to participate in another function, but the call will continue after they depart.
We will go ahead and open things up here with Dennis Dodd. Dennis, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, Bob. I'm on the road. I haven't seen a release yet. Can you confirm that this is effective 2023? And if so, is the Big 12 done expanding beyond that point?
I can answer both of those questions. In the case of BYU, they will be coming in 2023. In the cases of Houston, Cincinnati, and Central Florida, they will come in not later than July 1st, 24. So it could be in 23, but that hasn't been determined yet. And relative to future expansion, I think we're always going to be open to opportunities as they present themselves. We're living in a very fast changing athletic environment, and we will be at 14 for a while. We'll drop back to 12, and as there are targets of opportunity, or as there are situations that dictate that we change composition, we'll be prepared to do those things.
Thank you.
We'll move along to Lane Higgins.
Hey there, Lane Higgins from the Wall Street Journal. I wanted to follow up on that timeline because I believe in the release, the University of Houston said as soon as 2023, and with Commissioner Bowlesby now saying July 1, 2024. Curious, what exactly is going into that timeline, and whether, if you could characterize the extent of negotiations that have happened, if at all, with the American Athletic Conference regarding exit procedures.
Well, I guess I can take that one. I think not later than July 1st, 24 leaves open the possibility of it being sooner than that. 3 of our schools have obligations to the AAC. 1 has obligations to the West Coast Conference, and all of them are intent upon meeting their obligations and working with the conferences that they're currently affiliated with to go through a process. And as we sit here today, it's not known exactly what that process will be or how long it will take, but I certainly wouldn't foreclose on any of the institutions coming in as early as July 1st, 23.
We will move along to Adam Rittenberg. Adam.
Yeah, Bob, obviously you guys considered Houston and some of the other schools back in 2016. I'm just kind of wondering what have been the biggest factors that maybe changed to allow this to happen today? Obviously, the league composition has changed, but what are some of the other factors that went into it this time around versus the last time you considered expansion?
Oh, I think the last time it was a voyage of exploration. We were unsure as to whether or not expansion made perfect sense for us. In the end, the board made the decision that staying at 10 was the right decision at that time. We had a lot of people disappointed at that point, including, I'm sure, the University of Houston, but the decisions are made by our board, and that's the direction we went. I think with Texas and OU moving to the SEC, it caused a renewed consideration of the options that are available. And I think the more our group became committed to one another and moving forward with the group of 8, I think the more they began to believe that adding additional members, especially if we could add the kind of quality that we add with the University of Houston, made good sense. And I think in a broad array of sports, but particularly in football, we have added great quality, and we've added great universities. I think we've been number 1 in the RPI in men's basketball for most of the last 10 years. And the addition of these 4 universities are going to do nothing but strengthen our league in basketball. So we just feel like from top to bottom, the time was right and the institutions were right, and that we gain from the affiliation, and each of the schools will gain from the affiliation. So that's the perfect circumstance.
Send it over to Joseph Duarte.
Yeah, hi, Joseph Duarte with the Houston Chronicle. This is for Tillman and Renew. I was wondering if you could take us sort of behind the scenes on when this latest round sort of got on the school's radar in terms of being, once again going through the process or having a chance. And for President Chauvin, being that there was another Texas school that was going to be included, was there any discussion or concerns from the other Texas schools regarding adding another Texas school?
Let me address the last question, and then I'll defer to the board chair and chancellor. No, TCU and Baylor, as sister institutions in this state, recognize the strength of the University of Houston and the benefit it would bring to the league. Houston was an excellent institution athletically, academically back in 2016. They're even stronger today. The chancellor has alluded to some of their achievements. So there was no reservation on the part of the other Texas institutions. We saw this as strengthening the state of collegiate athletics in the state of Texas, as well as being a benefit to the league as a whole.
Go ahead, Chancellor.
Okay, I think from our side, we did not feel any kind of resentment and any kind of questioning. And even otherwise, we just have been staying totally focused on ourselves, the things that we can do, the things we should do to deserve a more competitive national platform for our student athletes. This journey did not start a month ago or a week ago or even 5 years ago. This has been in the making for quite some time as our community, fans and boosters and faculty, staff and students supported investing in athletics, from facilities to programs to academic issues that were there. As long as I will point out that as we started to look at our academic things, I mean, there were a lot of things that we really needed to raise to the level of being in the top in the country. And I'm just proud to say all of these things coming together today are very gratifying. But what's more gratifying is the external validation for this by joining the Big 12, getting an invitation from Big 12. I think we feel like, all of that journey has been very worth it. So I always say, just keep dreaming big. There's no point dreaming small. If you're going to take the effort to dream, just dream big.
So the chancellor's been at the University of Houston for 13 years, and I've been on the Board of Regents for 12 years. And this is, I believe, my 6th or 7th year as chairman. And when we hired Chris Pesman, the one thing that we told Chris is it's our goal to a conference, and preferably the Big 12. I mean, I love the Big 12. I love the rivalries. I remember the Southwest Conference days. And he was the only person we interviewed, because I just said nobody else is going to use the University of Houston as a stepping stone. And Chris was a Cougar, and we always wanted, we want Cougars, and we're just happy, the three of us, what it took. Besides, like I said, the chancellor said it took a village to accomplish this, and we're just happy to be a part of it, and just look so forward to the years to come.
We will send it over to Brian Smith.
Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. Bob, this is for you, kind of a two-part question. Number one, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, even before 2016, how has your view, your impression of the University of Houston, athletically, academically, facilities, all those things, changed, improved? And the other part is Tillman Fertitta having his name, his backing, I'm sure plays a part in this. How does that impact the tie-in from UH to where it's kind of a two-pronged push?
Well, I think Chairman Fertitta has been successful in everything that he's done. I think that is probably why the chancellor enjoys working with him so much, because he recognizes excellence. He deploys the necessary resources against the challenge to make that a reality. And that's a special circumstance when you have that sort of partnership. And so the chairman's comments about bringing in a new athletic director resonates, because they want somebody that understands the culture and that has the linkage to his football days in the 90s, and also has a modern experience that allows him to be just as innovative as the university has been. And there isn't any question that the University of Houston has come a long ways under Chancellor Couture's leadership, with the support of the board and the chairman. And the athletics piece of it is it should never be the tail wagging the dog, but it can be a very useful and high profile component of advancing a university. And so I have watched from afar. I've had other things to do than spend a lot of time thinking about how the University of Houston is advancing. But one can't live in the state of Texas without noticing the things that they're doing, the things that Renew mentioned as she was making her opening comments. And so it's that sort of excellence that we like to affiliate ourselves with. And it's that sort of mindset that causes us to be in a constant improvement mode. This is not just about adding members to the Big 12. This is about adding members that are additive and that bring the kinds of synergies that help UH get better and help every last member of our league get better. And as Tillman has said, I think great athletics conferences are built on great rivalries. And we are going to have tremendous rivalries in our league. And those rivalries are going to be enhanced by the addition of the University of Houston. So I just think the progress of the university is well documented and remarkable. I hope that if we sit in a forum like this 5 years from now, we look at it and say, gosh, UH has continued to progress. The athletics program has continued to progress, and gee, haven't they made the Big 12 better and each of our members better as well? I mean, that's the synergistic relationship that you seek with conference membership.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I know you have another call. We appreciate your time and flexibility here this morning.
Well, once again, congratulations to our colleagues at the University of Houston. Thank you all for taking the time to be on, and look very much forward to working with all of you to our mutual benefit. Thanks very much.
And may I reiterate those same sentiments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move along here. Greg Bailey. Greg?
Question for Renew Couture. Maybe just following up on the earlier question that got diverted a little bit. Just when did this process begin for you in the University of Houston leadership, and what was the timeline to get to today's announcement?
Okay, which process are we talking about? Just this most recent one right now?
Well, the process of engaging with the Big 12 and receiving the invitation.
Oh, obviously, when the league started to shift, we had our eyes on, and we were looking at whatever opportunity. But again, as I said, this is not just this time. We have been really thinking about whatever is the best platform for our student athletes to show their talent. I mean, I look at how talented they are, how committed and passionate they are. And I just want to make sure they have every opportunity at the highest level of competition. So when the league started changing, we also started to look for any opportunities. But I want to also thank in all of this thing that, we are very grateful to American Athletic League too for giving, us opportunity. It's been a great league for us to grow and to prosper. And so when it seemed like it was when Big 12 announced that they are going to be thinking about expansion is the time when we formally approached to see if they would entertain a proposal from us. And after that, things went very quickly, and I'm glad for it. And Chris can add more details to it.
Yeah, Greg, I'll just put a little more context. We've been, frankly, since before I got here, and when I got into this role, it was very clear what our direction was, is to be prepared for a moment in the marketplace that would create the opportunity for us to explore options. And obviously, with the announcement from Texas and OU, we were gearing ourselves up for when that moment would occur, and through the, frankly, the relationships that Tillman and Renew have, and so many of our people in our community, talking frankly to everybody, the amount of phone calls and communication that was occurring, just trying to get at a sense and read of what the market was going to provide, and frankly, the opportunity to, with the space that was being created by the potential moves, was something we were, hoping would occur. And, then we were able to take advantage of that movement to get to this position. And that there's a lot of things that go into that from a communication standpoint and relationships. And fortunately, the investment had been there by the institution and the commitment for, over 10 years to put us in a position where those conversations were a lot easier to have.
We'll keep it open for a few more questions and move along to Heather Dinich.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Okay, terrific. I was wondering if any of you can help explain the Autonomy 5 status and how you get there. And I asked that question because we know Mike Oresco has been trying forever to reach that. And here you have the irony, which he will point out, of the best schools in the American Athletic Conference not good enough to reach the Autonomy 5 status in that league, now helping make the Big 12 whole again and reach Power 5 status and stay there. How does this work? How does it work?
Chancellor, you're on the board of governors for the NCAA. I'll give that one to you.
Okay, well, it is actually an NCAA designation, and it happened several years ago through a legislative action from part of NCAA. So it's only if there is another league to be added as a Power Five, the decision has to come again from the legislative process within the NCAA.
Heather, if I can, obviously we are very proud of what the American has done and continues to do. That's a league that, is newer, and the amount of growth that it's had in such a short period of time. Obviously, we feel very proud of that effort because it's something we were part of. But, it's kind of like chasing AAU status. Both of those things, you kind of know what the framework is, but as far as, getting tapped to get pulled in, or that's a harder thing to pin down. So I can't tell you what that secret item is. It felt like we needed to do a lot of things as an institution to provide our opportunity to get on to the other side of it. But certainly we have very favorable opinion and view, and are very supportive of what the American is doing and has done.
Thank you.
We'll move along to Sam Khan.
This one is for Pez and Tillman. You guys have both been a part of this university back when the Southwest Conference disbanded and was formed. I know, Pez, you alluded to it earlier. For what that meant for the university at that time to what this means now, I guess, how would you sum up how important this moment is for you guys personally and for the University of Houston, considering the journey it's been on since that point 27 years ago?
So,
Chairman?
Pez, I'll go first. It's huge. I mean, it was such an exciting day when we got into the Southwest Conference. I remember it. I remember supporting, the team so strongly when Bill Yeoman and Guy Lewis were our big two coaches, and we were such a strong independent. And it was a great time being in the Southwest Conference, and it was extremely disappointing when this happened. And when you were playing these great rivalry schools that you had this relationship with in Texas, and then all of a sudden you didn't, it took many years to come back. And it's very hard on your alumni and fans when you were playing Texas and Oklahoma and Texas Tech and TCU and Baylor and all these schools. And back then it was Nebraska. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. And then you start playing schools that you have no history and rivalry with. And college athletics is all about rivalry. And it's nothing against those schools and the conferences that we went in, but it just wasn't the same anymore. And to be able to play now your Oklahoma State again and your Texas Tech again and your TCU and your Baylor and build these rivalries that are going to happen in the years to come is just extremely exciting. And it's been a tough 20 something years on our alumni and our fans in the city of Houston. And I can just tell you that we are just ecstatic over this today.
Yes, Sam, it's there's a lot of scars and a lot of alumni at the University of Houston from what happened in the early 90s. It's a little bit of, just gun shy. But to be in this position today, Tillman and Renew and I have talked about this, and our coaches have, when this affects everything, every aspect of our department and our programs and the opportunity it provides the institution to continue to grow where, work meets opportunity and where that provided this chance to have this come together for us. For me, it's incredibly personal. I played in the Southwest Conference, and then, to see us go through the kind of nomadic life of Conference USA to the American, and the uncertainty that have evolved through all those times. And then to have this chance, present itself over the course of the summer with the moves that occurred, and the opportunity presented to us today is just, again, I have not found a single word to describe it other than it's just truly, truly meaningful. And there's so many people that are responsible for this. I mean, you think about the political apparatus that we didn't have available to us necessarily when the Southwest Conference dissolved, and what we have today. And it started with Welcome Wilson starting the PAC 20 years ago. Jason Smith, who is our political liaison for the university, and his efforts and him working behind the scenes to help provide information to us on where things were going and how to navigate it. The list goes on and on and on. And trust me, when I say we fired every bullet, this was not an opportunity we were going to allow to pass us by without, I said it several times again to Tillman and Renew. We did not want to sit here and look at this opportunity and say, what else could we have done? And I feel very confident that we did quite a bit, and hopefully we can mend some of those relationships as we leaned on people, but it proved out, and today is a great day to be a Coug.
Let me just finish with this. This is great for the city of Houston, which, everybody knows how much I love, and to be a part of so many things in the city. But to be able for the Baylor fans and the TCU fans and the Iowa State fans and the Kansas fans, this is a big area and a big city with so many alumni in this city from all of these schools. And it's got to be exciting for them as Houstonians that they get to watch their school now come to the city of Houston and be a part of it, which makes them more part of our Cougar community, because they'll be coming and watching their football team and their basketball team and their baseball teams and all their women's sports teams. And it's just special to be a part of the Big 12. And I do too think that the American Athletic Conference was very special. I think that it was on its way to become a Power 5 conference itself from how well it's doing athletically and academically. And but today, this is what's right for the University of Houston. And we're just happy again to be a part of it.
We will take one last question and wrap things up with Mark Berman. Mark.
Tillman, I'd like to ask this question, and Renew, ask you a follow. Tillman, how important was this that it happened on your watch?
If it would not have happened on my watch this time, I would not be chairman of the Board of Regents as of today. Okay, I would have been a failure, and I could not have dealt with it. And thank God that didn't happen. But I'll say it again, we truly went full court. Everybody knows when stuff happens. I can tell you that the chancellor and Chris and myself had some very late night calls and some very early morning calls because the press was on. And we got here. The Big 12 could not have been any more supportive, and Bob couldn't have been any more supportive. And I'm just going to keep saying it. It does take a village, and like the chancellor said, and we're just happy to be a part of it. And we look so forward to these rivalries. There's just nothing like college football rivalries.
Renew, with all the things you've accomplished leading this university, where does this one stack up?
Well, first of all, I want to point out, Mark, that you see the passion and ownership in Chairman's voice. That's what really it takes. He has taken this university as if like this is his own, every, joy and every pain. And I saw how hard Chairman worked, to make this day a reality. And I just want to say thank you, but I also want everybody to know that, what a true leadership is. And I've been learning a lot in the last 10 years, how to dream big. I mean, I think I'm dreaming big, and then Chairman comes and says, no, you aren't dreaming big. So, That's how I have grown too. Okay, now to answer your question, Mark. People often ask me, what are you most proud of? And let me just say it this way. I don't stack things up, but I'll tell you that exactly what makes me give the greatest gratification. And that is to make alumni stand tall today and say with greater pride that I am a graduate of the University of Houston. I find all of these things stack up to that. And I just see that is the biggest thing that I can find joy in.
Chairman Fertitta, President Couture, Vice President Pesman, thank you so much for your time here this morning and congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all you Cougars.
Amen.
For our general media, we will have Houston head men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson on momentarily. Thank you.
I'll stay.
Keep me off. Have they keep okay, just
Coach, thank you so much for your time here this morning. We are joined by Houston head men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson. Please, as we referred to earlier, use the raise your hand tool and we will get things your way. And we will go ahead and get started with Chris Gardner. Chris, whenever you're ready.
Coach, what does this mean to you? What does this news mean to you about joining the Big 12?
Well, I'm happy for all the people that work so hard behind the scenes, the teams that came before us, student athletes, staff. You know, I think I give a lot of credit to Commissioner Oresco for his hard work in trying to make the American Athletic Conference a Power 6 conference, and there's a reason why. You know, we all wanted to be in a Power 5 conference because of the obvious benefits. You know, for one, you know, sometimes the biggest difference in our school and a lot of the other schools is nothing but how much TV money you get, and with that TV money, it creates a difference in a lot of things. But being back in the Big 12 for our university with the teams there, I just think is good for our fan base, good for our alumni, good for our university.
Thank you, Chris. We will move along to Joseph Duarte. Joseph.
Good afternoon, Kelvin, or good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it is morning still.
Yeah, Kelvin, just from a basketball standpoint, to join this league, you're very familiar with it, but the quality of teams from a conference standpoint, what does that mean to join teams like, you know, Kansas, and you look at Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, all teams really that you played, you know, in the last 5 years or so here in Houston?
What does it mean?
Yeah, just to be in, and now to join, which should be a really strong basketball league.
Yeah, well, we were in a good basketball league. You know, I think all teams go in cycles, you know, except the upper crust. But you know, top to bottom, it's one of the toughest teams in the country. And we played. Of course, everybody had to play Baylor this year, the best team in the country. Kansas had many years where they were the best team in the country. You know, I've been on the other side of the Bedlam rivalry for many years, so I know how passionate, how good the Oklahoma State program is with Mike, and they've got an awesome fan base. You know, Jamie and Bruce, I know all those guys, and I know all their programs. So, you know, we'll dive in there whenever they say we can. I think they said, when is it, Jeff, when we move to the Big 12?
Fall of 2023.
Yeah, fall of 23. We'll just continue to build our program and try to be the best University of Houston program we can be. Just like we were in this league. That league is at least tough, outstanding coaches, and we look forward to competing with them.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll open it up to Greg Bailey. Greg?
Kelvin, does this change anything about the way you recruit, about any of that, or you just go about your business and keep building a program that's already been to the Final Four?
Well, we didn't start being good last year. You know, I think our record's 111 and 24 the last 4 years. And, you know, we've played a lot of people. We played Ohio State, Washington, Wake Forest, LSU, Oregon, Syracuse, Rutgers, Oregon State, Arkansas. You know, those same, the kids that we're recruiting now has done pretty good. So you're always trying to improve. The schools in the Big 12 are trying to improve. None of us are any different. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And if this means that I think certain positions we're going to have to continue to improve. But, you know, for us, we just continue our business. You know, we want to continue to get better. It doesn't matter to me what league we're in as far as recruiting. You know, you just want to continue to get better. You know, I coached in that league for 12 years, so I have a pretty good idea of what it's like to play on the road. You know, the fan base is, I think playing on the road is going to be different, but you know, if you came to Houston 10 or 12 years ago, playing here is going to be different. So I think our fan base will be excited about this, and I think our team will compete very well in the Big 12.
Thank you, Greg. We will send it over to James Mueller with the Cougar. James?
Yeah, Kelvin, you sort of touched on my question a little bit ago with the fan base, but just what does it mean to be able to, you know, have these big time schools like Baylor, Texas Tech, Kansas come to Houston on a regular basis? As you've already, you know, seen the growth of the fan base over the past few years with the new development of the Fertitta Center and facilities and all that.
Well, I think playing teams in Texas, you know, there's like the Texas Tech football game the other night. You saw how many Texas Tech fans were at NRG. You saw how passionate our fans were. You know, if you were playing a team from another state, you wouldn't have seen that. You know, Baylor, Texas Tech, TCU, Houston. You know, there's a familiarity about that can't be reproduced playing teams from other states. But you know, it's going to be great for our fans, man. I'm excited for them. Not only our students that we have now, but you know, there's students that were here for 4 years that don't know anything but Houston being a winning basketball program. You know, a ranked program. That's all they know. Then there's classes from freshmen to seniors that had never seen Houston win. But now we can feel the excitement when you walk around campus, walk around certain areas of the town. We can feel the excitement. This is before the Big 12 news. Now with the Big 12 news, I think you're going to bring a whole different segment of our fan base out that grew up with the old Southwest Conference, and that'll get them excited.
Thanks, James. We'll move along to Sam Kahn.
Hey, Kelvin, what would you say, how are you? What would you say about the work and just commitment, not just for this specific move, but that your program gets and that athletics gets from Renew Couture, Tillman Fertitta, Chris Pesman, the entire power structure at Houston, and what that support means to athletics?
Well, I remember being with Hunter Yurchek when we were designing and we had all these dreams about the Fertitta Center, but we also knew we needed some propane to propel us forward. We needed that burner to be lit, and the guy that lit that burner for us was Tillman. You know, ambitious people that have a inner drive about them aren't afraid of failure. It's okay for you to criticize or talk about them in whatever way you choose, because they have a light that they're running toward, that they're single-minded about. Tillman loves this university. He really does. In my conversations with him, you never know. I never know when my phone's going to ring and it's Tillman. And it's he rang the other day and he was on a boat in the Bahamas. I said, anyway, you can get that plane back here to Houston, I'll go hang out with you. But him writing that check for $20 million was the match that lit the propane and that burner. It got us going. That gave us a chance to get the bulldozers in here and make these dreams a reality. You know, everybody wants to win, but when we got here, we were not set up to win. You know, we're more set up for failure than winning. And we didn't need the Big 12 to win. You know, I kept hearing that, but I said, look, you know, let's not wait for something that may or may not happen. You know, I want to win. And I know that, you know, having been in the Pac-12 and the Big 10 and the Big 12, I knew how this thing worked. But I wasn't going to be able to do it by myself. You know, my vision was my vision, but the guy that allowed these things to get going was Tillman. Renew's, her purpose was she wanted us to be one of the major players in the market. We just didn't have the resources. I've been to schools that had resources. We didn't have the resources here. You know, we weren't, it wasn't a level playing field. Now, I didn't see that as a reason not to be competitive. You know, we take what we have and here's what we have to have. That's basically what I did, or what I've done, is saying, here's what we need. And you have to decide if you want to play. You know, don't wait for somebody to invite us to the party. We can have our own party, you know. So, you know, sometimes the competitiveness comes out in you about where you are. We're at University of Houston. Coach Guy V. Lewis, Elvin Hayes, Don Chaney, Ken Spain, Bonnie, Cadillac Anderson, Anthony Goldwire, the great Otis Birdsong, Vice Lamajama. You know, the list goes on and on and on with the great players and the tradition that we had here. You know, how did we get good? And it started with recruiting. You know, we hired a tremendous staff. We got going in recruiting. But that light that Tillman lit to get those bulldozers in and started tearing down that wall. I used to just love to go by there and just smell the dust, and just smell the history. Just here we go. We're changing things. We got this beautiful development center, and now we're going to have a beautiful, bright new arena. And now And then now when you bring kids on campus, you have a chance. And of course, you got to coach them up and you got to be able to do all that stuff and recruit. But without facilities, this would not have happened. And the guy that set the match to that was Tillman.
We're going to wrap things up with one final question from Dayon Dunlap. Dayon.
Hey, Coach Sampson.
Hey, what's up, D?
What you just talked about, how Tillman kind of helped jumpstart with the Fertitta Center. What are some of the next level things off the court that you guys may be thinking about, whether it be to kind of help take the program to the next level, whether it be upgrades in the practice facility or anything along that nature?
Yeah, I think we're set up. We've got a good foundation here. Unless you've ever been a coach at this level, you wouldn't understand the importance of certain things. Always trying to stay on the cutting edge. We got a new facility. Some people may ask, well, why we got a new facility? Why do we need to do anything about it? Because every year somebody's doing something that's better. Whoever built the last one's got the nicest one. Ours was built in 2016. You should see how much better they are now than they were in 2016. So the kids that we're recruiting now, they didn't see it in 2016. They didn't know we had nothing up until 2016. So now we're in 2021, 22. Got to catch up. Got to stay up. You've got to continue to sharpen your blade. You don't sharpen your blade, it's hard to cut meat with a dull knife, man. And I'm constantly on the lookout. That's why when I hire staff, I sit down and talk to them and I see if that's something that can help our program. Either doing favors for somebody or you're helping somebody make you better. I choose to hire people that can make us better. But we're always looking for new things. We're doing things now that they've never done, but that's what the other schools have been doing forever. We've been in catch-up mode for a long time here, and now as we move to a new conference, we're going to find out what they're doing. Don't be afraid to look at what other people are doing and see if they're doing things that can help you. We've been on the other side of that too. There's a lot of schools that have been through here. Look at our new facilities that built them back in the mid 2005, 2006. Now they've got to go in and refurbish or renovate or remodel theirs. And we're in an outstanding conference. I can't thank Mike Oresco for his fight in making this conference better. Dan Leibowitz, who I work with as a basketball commissioner, Brian Thornton, the basketball guy we have now, all the coaches and players that we've coached against in the American Athletic Conference, and we get to be with them for 2 more years. But obviously we've got our eye to the west of us and north of us, and those programs are doing things that they keep them at a high level, and now with the resources on the way, we're going to be doing the same thing that they're doing to get us to a higher level. So looking forward to it, man. Big 12, it's exciting news for this school, but I'm looking forward to competing in the American Athletic Conference. What's in front of us is the American Athletic Conference. What's ahead of us is the Big 12. I choose to focus on what's in front of us right now.
Coach, thank you so much for your time here this morning.
You bet. Thank you.
For our general media here, we will be joined by Houston head football coach Dana Holgorsen here momentarily. Thank you. Coach Holgorsen, thanks so much for your time here this afternoon. We will go ahead and open up questions. As always, please use the raise your hand tool. identify yourself as well as your affiliation, and we will get things going. And we will lead things off with James Mueller. James.
Yeah, hey Dana. Just on what's your overall thoughts on this big news, and then also I know you've talked about last week before the Tech game how you really want games like that to be played at TDECU. So just being able to have these schools come in to campus and play games like that on a regular basis.
It's a it's a great day for the University of Houston. There's been a lot of hard work that's been going on here for the last 15 years or so. It's just a great day for the University of Houston, for our fan base. It's one of the reasons why I came here, because I kept my eyes on what was happening here. I got hired here in 2008, was here for 2 years. It's about the same time that Miss Renew Couture got hired here. And what she's done for the last 15 years or 13 years or however long it's been is something that I've been very vocal about. And I kept my eye on what was going on. We got tremendous leadership here. We got incredible campus, great location, vibrant city. I knew Houston was going to be in this conversation. I didn't know when it was going to happen. Didn't know how quick it was going to happen. Figured we had to win a few more games than we have here. But just based on what's happening with the city, with what our leadership is, with how great our fan base is, the amount of success that's happened academically, with buildings being built, with enrollment going up, with the academic situation being good. I mean, there's a law school being redone. There's a medical school being built. We got great leadership with our board, with Tillman Fertitta, being in charge. It's just great. It's a great time to be a Houston Cougar, man. So just looking forward to this, here in a couple of years. We got a lot of work to do. That starts here in about 20 minutes in preparation for trying to win a ball game tomorrow against Rice. That's my focus, but just for overall, just really excited for the direction of the university.
We'll send it over to Sam Kahn. Sam.
Hey, Dana, I'm curious, when you go back to your decision to take this job in 2019, how much was this kind of in the back of your mind, the possibility of this happening, and how did that factor into your decision to eventually come here?
Hope you're doing good, Sam. Hadn't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, it played a part, certainly. Like I just said, I mean, I had my eye on this for quite a while. I have history here. Been recruiting up and down. We got coaches in high schools for the first time in about 18 months here today because we can. But been going in and out of these high schools since 2000. Got a lot of history with the city, a ton of respect for the Houston area football, and being able to recruit in this city is awesome and important. But really just kept my eye on what Miss Renew was doing here with what the University of Houston was doing with the amount of buildings that's been going, the success that has all the sports programs have been experiencing, I guess, other than us. But it played. I knew we'd be in that conversation. When this conversation was going to be, I didn't know. It probably happened a little quicker than I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd have to play our part in it a little bit more. But it played a part in me wanting to be here. I've always kind of wanted to come back here, and I knew this was kind of my end game. So excited about the direction of where we're headed.
We'll send it over to Mark Berman. Mark.
Dana, I don't know if this specific question was asked. I had to walk away for a second, but going into the Big 12, how does this change things for you and your program?
It changes the big picture aspect of it, which we've kind of been, we're trending that direction anyway. It doesn't do anything for the 2021 football team. My focus right now is the 2021 football team. This does not affect the 2021 football team at all. It will affect a lot of other things that are administrative, fundraising, buildings, future scheduling. I mean, that's down the road. You know, that's how we recruit for 2023 in the Big 12, which is different. You know, there's a lot of things that gotta happen. You know, this Zoom call is gonna last another 10 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna go into a meeting and we got our team here showing up, and you know, 100% of my focus is on the 2021 football team and playing, you know, getting another day of preparation in so we can line up and do our best against a really good Rice team. That's going to be a huge challenge for us. So, you know, we're not going to have a whole lot of these 2023 Big 12 conversations, you know, here for quite some time. Administratively, they will. You know, what we got to do to catch up, because we got an awful lot of catching up to do when it comes to what we have and what we need. You know, I've been at 3 other Big 12 institutions, and I've been at every Big 12 institution, whether it's UCF, Cincinnati. I guess BYU is the only one that I haven't been recently, but you know, then the other 8, been to every one of them and know what they got and know what we got to do to catch up. That's not a this afternoon conversation. That's a lot of work down the road that I'm not going to consume myself with, based on the fact that the 2021 football team here is the most important thing in my world.
Send it over to Joseph Duarte.
Dana, moving forward with recruiting, every class from now on moving forward will have a year in the Big 12. Does that change things in terms of going into living room and saying, you know, you'll play in the Big 12 or come play for a school that's in the Big 12?
Absolutely, without a doubt. People, student athletes that wouldn't take our phone call will now take our phone call. Other schools using, you know, non-Power 5 institution cannot use that against us. It's happened countless times where student athletes would say, well, if you know, I love Houston, I love the University of Houston, but I want to play in a Power 5 conference. It's just facts. Okay, so how we recruit isn't really going to change. Who we recruit is going to change, and you know, I'm confident that our administration understands how much work and how many things that we got to do here to make our school attractive to be able to compete with other Power 5 schools. So yeah, we'll make a huge difference moving forward.
We will wrap things up with Matt Muessel. Matt?
Dana, I talked to you yesterday, and we were talking about you definitely won't be intimidated being on the bigger stage of the Big 12 because you've done that before. But can you take just a moment and just think back what Baylor was like before they became members of the Big 12 and the renaissance that happened with that place and that athletic department, and how that could transfer to something like that here in Houston?
Oh, it's gonna move the needle. It's gonna move the needle for the entire University of Houston. You know, we got things that it'll help from an athletic department, from a football program. You know, the resources are gonna be greater. It's gonna move the needle as an institution. It's the one thing. You know, I believe Renew told me this a couple weeks ago, or it's the one thing that's gonna propel this university to where it wants to go. You know, I was a part of that deal up there in Morgantown when, you know, the 1 year that is kind of going to be my message for the team is just, you know, we got to focus on this. This doesn't affect the 2021 team. You know, my first year there in 2011, it happened about mid-season, just like it's happening right now. And we got to block out. This can become a distraction if we allow it to be. We got to block that out, you know, and we got to focus on Rice, and then we got to focus on the next one. We got to focus on who we're playing right now and continue to build our program the way that the way that our administration wants this program built. It will change it moving forward. It won't affect this year. We got a lot of work to do here this year, and we got a lot of ball games to coach in and to play in, and we fully expect to be extremely competitive and win every one. For where it's going to go after this, you'll see a big difference here in about 5 years.
Coach, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for your time and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Everyone, thanks for your time here this morning. We will get this distributed here shortly. Thank you again.